Morning, morning, everybody. Michelle is here. It's Sunday, and I think this is a different month, isn't it? I think it's May 1st. No, May 30th. No, I'm sorry, April 30th. My goodness, me and these calendars and time, and I for some reason I've been having, I've had issues for as long as I can remember about remembering what the date is and remembering. I usually know what the day is, like Sunday, but I can never really know what month it is until I go and check and look, which is weird. That could be because of, the last job I had. I was on autopilot all the time and and desensitized as well, and not really in touch with the time per se, because it became relative after a while because of the amount of work I was doing and the amount of sleep I was getting, which was not much. And so it was like I was just losing track of what actually the day was or whatever. I was just moving, keeping it moving and not being so concerned about it because there was no in the field I was in, there was no such thing as a holiday, per se. I mean, it all depends on where you were on the tree of whatever, or on the hierarchy. And usually, like I said, the hardest working people are usually at the lower end of the pyramid, doing all the work. And so it's hard to keep up with time, days and stuff like that. But anyway, or time or anything, whatever. And speaking of which, that's what's continually comes back to me. It's something about time. It really is. It's something about time. And so this might be a long video. That's why I'm going to put it on my YouTube page, and whoever gets it and read it and listen to it, or swipe and move on to the billions of other content out there. I like to keep stressing that because a lot of people like to waste a lot of time, you know, arguing with people about something that they don't like when they have free will. Remember that you have free will. But anyway, time. Uh, and memory and being live. Those things are having a moment with me, live or Memorex. And I think I've said this before, and talking with people about, are we living memories? Are we possibly all living memories? Which means the damage has already been done, and we are living fragments of memory, and I think, given another opportunity possibly for some of us to continue with our evolution, right? Because you need a planet for that. You need a planet for evolution. And if there's no planet nearby that can support our consciousness and our vibrational level, we're just going to be circling in an abyss forever until there's a suitable planet to come along that can accept lower vibrational people. you know um and some of us, like myself, I said, we are attempting help to raise the vibration, for the billions of people on this planet, to be suitable enough to where people can safely come in and help. Number one, because I told you it's unsafe for anyone of a higher consciousness level from other universes to come in and help people that are so low in their vibrational. It's dangerous for let's say advancing consciousness human beings from other universes and other planets. They can't come near us because of our low vibrational. And so I think there was just a certain thing about time that may have been manipulated in a way of positivity, It's almost like a last ditch effort to reach people on this planet. And so they bring in armor of people, messengers. And I realize there's like billions of people in other planets and other universes who send a meditative piece to us. In other words, they are performing a meditation about peace, and they call it the peace meditation, where they are doing everything in their power as well to kind of release some of that encasement of negativity that's around this planet. So, and like I said, what will happen is, remember, we already have a billions of people, like 120 billion people or more. 120 billion spirit forms or more encased around this planet as well, that at some point have to be reincarnated. Okay, but 127 billion, and then we already got 10 billion people on the planet, a planet that's can only support sufficiently a billion less, but we are already at 10 billion. And I told you about these other planets that had 120, and maybe a billion people still live there. I told you about this other planet that had 35 billion on there, and maybe 116 million were saved. And then now we got planet Earth on the brink of the same disaster. I told you about Malona. So I just sense sometimes that there are some twerking, so to speak, of time, and which is allowing us still once again to get our act together and make things right and make things righteous. Because that's a lot of people to lose. When I say a lot of people, that's a lot of opportunity to lose with so many billions and billions and billions of people. For billions and billions and billions of people to lose that obligation to materially evolve, that's pretty devastating, actually, if you look at the big picture. And I told you things that are happening, they've not ever happened before. We're not Rome. We're not Mu in Atlantis. It's just a reckoning, I think, this time around, that planet Earth is going to be dealt with once and for all, with the degeneracy of the human beings that constantly, they reincarnate. It's different, separate people, but yet they continue on that same path of destruction, right? Because I told you, when you reincarnate as a completely different, separate individual, and then, but throughout your life, you're going to be resolving things of past personalities. In other words, it's like having a fresh set of eyes, a fresh body, a fresh consciousness, blah, 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 to resolve things that the previous personality could not or would not. But it appears that may not be happening to a certain amount of individuals, or individual human beings. And other planets and universes will not dare touch it, which I don't blame them, because it is destruction. My point. We always come to the end, and it's always destruction. Again, this planet accordingly, has always been in war. Unlike other planets, they'll be in war, but then at some point they end it and they come to a peaceful um, resolution. You know, or some have assistance, right? With certain technology to come in and also assist as well. Um, we were told about with the a certain level of advanced humans that are here assisting the messenger, the messenger or the teacher. And like I said, we are just his assistants per se, and we are just helping to disseminate, like a disciples. I hate to use certain words, but sometimes you have to say words so that people can understand what the hell you're talking about. And it's all about people understanding you, and that you are comprehending, that you're speaking clearly and effectively to people, so they can, clearly and effectively, so that people can snap out of this trance, snap out of the delusion. And from people that ought to know better, the same kind of things are happening, where they are degenerating, and they are like devolving instead of evolution, that they're going backwards. So, and who's to say that there were no technology assistance? Who's to say that? Nobody would know that. In other words, if there were some advanced technology used to help planet Earth to kind of raise up the vibration, like it has happened on other planets. Because on other planets, like the one that's assisting us, that were, that we I call them the P's, uh, like over 50,000 years ago or so, they had a orb or some type of sphere or some type of technology that came in and kind of rescued them from their destruction as well, their constant chaos, and it worked. Because they were up enough. They were vibrating enough to where it was safe to bring such a technology in, apparently, to help them to get out of a certain delusion. And most of the delusion centered around religion, by the way. You know, the culprit, the cancer to the consciousness was always religion. And a lot of people get extremely upset about that. And I do everything in my power to be respectful of that. But remember what religion is, okay? Remember what religion is, and how for people of color, I mean, we ought to denounce that completely if we knew the history of how religion was developed, and how well-meaning intentions of everything have always turned into an encasement of negativity. So no matter what the purpose of religion was, it should be obvious to people that it's not what it's not doing. It's causing more harm than good. I told you about the Bible and why was the Bible changed, and did people of color, were they on a committee to change the Bible? No. And if you read the Bible, like I said, I attempted to read it back in the day, and to me it was just a bunch of rambling and contradictions, and I could not keep up. And trust me, I love to read, and if anything, that would be one book I would have read. But I just could not So anyone going around decipher, wanting to be a decipher of it, I don't know. I just don't know how you are, other than that you're just projecting and assuming and putting in your own, into the attempts to decipher instead of deciphering. You know, in other words, you're putting your own personal theories and opinions, and that's where an issue. That's why I said we. That's why I said theories and opinion mean absolutely nothing. So nothing from nothing leaves what? Nothing. In a material sense. In a spiritual, that's something completely different. Nothing can become something, but that's not where I am. We are still operating so low that we wouldn't even understand that the spiritual realm of things at all. And that's where we ought to be in our consciousness. Our consciousness is about developing the spiritual aspect of being a human being and what that means. So, like I said, I always come back to the memories. It's always like, are we already in a deja vu? And those of us that are teachers, we are, we are along for the ride ourselves, but we understand how far. That's why I said we have to be just as careful as anybody else to not get ourselves encased in negativity, and that means being inhumane towards human beings, being judgmental in a negative sense towards other human beings, being self-righteous. Some people that have higher level of consciousness are becoming just as self-righteous instead of righteous. So, what's happening? You know, and like I said, when I meditate, um, it always comes back to, you know, like I'm in a whirlpool as well with everybody, and that's fine. I can keep my head above water in this whirlpool. Put it that way. I feel like we're already. I mean, I sense that we are definitely spinning. A lot of people are already in the abyss, and this is our last ditch effort to help, and it's turning out that the people that are going to be where they're going to be, they were going to be where they're going to be regardless. You know, so in other words, there's no changing in certain people, but people that are on the natural course of evolving themselves and evolving their consciousness, okay, they're given that opportunity to do so that it'll be beneficial for them to be saved or rescued. In other words, their consciousness is high enough, their vibrational is high enough that people can come in and safely rescue us. Does that make sense? So I'm contemplating, and I keep coming back to the same, you know, you know, they're kind of just disturbing. Let's say that they're disturbing, and you know, and that we're doing everything in our power to reach people, and it's failing. Yet we still, like I said, me and others who are about our consciousness and evolution. I mean, we need a planet to do that, and there's no other planet that can. So in other words, we're here to complete that. At the same time, help people if we can. I hope that makes sense. So at some point, like I said, we're going to have to just separate and be in like-minded groups of people and be face to face with human beings, and and let everything else go. So I'm going to continue to to contemplate on that and understand what all this means. That if we are living memories, then, you know, our efforts are what? What does it say about our efforts? Are they futile? You know, do we need to pull back? You know, like I said, the people that are helping, do we just need to pull back now and just let things go? So I'm gonna meditate on it more, contemplate on it more, and and just put out what I'm thinking based on my theories and opinions, and based on my experiences, and I'm just sharing it. Again, like I said, I feel like I'm talking to the future, and that the people that are here now are, totally disregarding everything we're doing, even the original messenger. Everything's being disregarded, but at the same time, we have to complete a task, regardless, right? Because we can't give up. Why? We look, people that are messengers and teachers and whatever, we signed up for this. So whether we get the results or not, the intended results or not, you still have to finish, right? You still have to finish. You just can't say, well, blah 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 blah. No, that you can't do that. As a genuine teacher, you can't just fold and close up shop and then go home. Like I said, we signed up for this, and that's why I said there's cause and effect. No such thing as a coincidence. No such thing as a chance, and you reap what you've sown. So with all that, um, you know, that sounds logical to me, that the damage has been done. Otherwise, why are we in these positions? Why are we in positions with the climate? And that some of us are just kind of reliving some memories because of the fact that we choose to evolve, and we may already know what the outcome is going to be, but our consciousness protects us from knowing that. Otherwise, we wouldn't go forward, right? So I just want to share that contemplation out loud. And whoever hears this and listens to this, that's fine. Hear it, listen to it, and then move on. And nothing more needs to be said about it, actually. Or unless you want to put out your own video and talk in your own words and talk from your own mouth instead of regurgitating people's stuff. Be your own genuine human being, and see how that feels on you. Peace and love. Talk to you soon.